How's everybody doing? My name is Mike and this is Miss Jessie, and today we're working on her laying down. So what I wanted to share with everybody is the technique I use to get her to lay down. So each dog is different when they come in. We do not use a blanket way of teaching dogs anything really. We have to individualize it because each dog, believe it or not, is very different from the last dog I have usually, so each dog is different and we have to tailor it to them, what's going to make them understand the most. So what I like to do is I just need to get the dog to perform what I'm asking, but before I do that I have to somehow get the dog in that position to let her know this is what I want from you. Okay, so if the dog's never done it before, good girl, good down. That can actually be an example of me helping condition that. Is just saying good down. She's in that position. I'm saying down. So that's the first clue for her what I want. So what I did, hey, I got another dog in there whining. When you can make eye contact with a dog when they can see you, it's it's more of a stimulating for them. So just correct them, then ignore them. So what I did with her is we always use pressure with the dog. I show you guys how I first introduced pressure to the dog. So then when I ask her to lay down, I kind of just heel, sit. So when I ask her to lay down, I would just take the leash and use pressure. But this dog would stop on the leash when we're walking. She would try to control the walk, and she would just stop. So she was doing the same thing when I would grab the leash and pull down just to signal to her to go ahead and lay down on the ground. She was trying to stop the exercise. So what I started doing is using my foot, so I don't have to bend down with her. I can just kind of use my foot, and I can kind of wait for her to go to the ground. So since that stuff wasn't working, she would just stand there and she was resisting. She was not going down. So then what I started doing is I started saying down, and I would just actually sweep her legs down. And I would sweep her legs like that, good down. So I'd sweep her legs out just to get her in the position so she understood what I want instead of having her resist. I had to find a way to get her down without her resisting, and this was the only way that I could do it with her. So and I would use the carpet for her to sit, so she'll stay in a sitting position. Then I would use this the concrete to get her to slide in position. So you got to use the environment to your advantage. So this is where we're at now, as I'm using my foot for pressure. Now that she knows where the down position is and what I want from her, I can use my foot for pressure, and I'll just make sure I put her feet on the concrete, so it's much easier for her to just slide into position rather than the carpet gives her a little more traction. So I'll show you what that looks like. Heel. One girl, heel. Sit. So actually I want her feet on the concrete. Heel. Sit. Sit. And I just want her to, slide her feet into position. Down. So you see how that's very little pressure on her neck, if any pressure at all. Good girl, good down. It's just to help her slide into position, because she wants to kind of resist and stay still. So we want to set her up for success and make it as easy as possible. And so we give her something that she can just kind of slide in position. It's way easier for her. Okay, girl, place. Okay, girl, heel. Heel. Sit. Good girl, good sit. Down. Good down. Good girl. So you guys can hear, I have another dog in here who's whining a whole lot, so I'm going to show you what to do. Down. So I can use a shake can, or I can use this bonker that when he's whining, hey, and I can just throw it against the crate, because it's one of those things, dogs, if they know they can get away with something, they're going to do it, and the second he sees I'm distracted with a video and he knows I'm kind of not addressing him the way I normally would address a dog if I didn't have a camera running, and so he's taking advantage of that. So it's always important to be prepared, take the time to address the dog. So let's go ahead and show you heel, what that looks like again. Good girl. Sit. No, sit. Sit. And so again, it was very hard to get her to do this the first time. So I had to figure out a way to get her down to the ground. Go ahead, girl, down. Good girl, down, no. See that? So see how she like tricked me, right? She acted like she was going down and then she didn't. This is why you have to be firm with them. You can't kind of play around during that time. Down. Down. Good. See, the reason she got up is because I was like eye level with her, right? She looked like she was laying down, so I told her to lay down and just, because if they're going to do it on their own, you want to actually encourage that because it was so difficult to get her in that position in the beginning. So just remember, you want to set them up for success. If you ask them to lay down, you have to figure out a way to communicate it that they can understand what you're asking from them. And then it's called shaping. You have to give them like kind of breadcrumbs where you want them to go, and you have to build off their success. So what we do is we use the foot to put just a little bit of pressure on the leash in the downward position, and once she starts going, I take my foot off. Pretty soon I'll just be tapping my foot next to the leash, and then I will not even be using my foot. So remember, set your dog up for success. If you have another dog taking advantage of a situation, it's whining a lot, it's best to stop the anxiety, take the time, and address the dog. Good girl. Good down, girl. Also, when the dog goes into the down position, this is actually very important. She's about 9 months old, so good girl, good down. We reward them, and what I can actually do, good girl, good down, is I can get in a dominant position over the dog, good girl, and I'm giving her affection, and it's like play, and she feels good about it, but I'm actually over top of her practicing a dominant position. Good girl, good down, that is girl, good down. See that? So I'm actually practicing a dominant position with her, and she likes it, and she's in the down position. Good girl. It's going to make her want to go in the down position when I ask her to. Good girl. Good down, girl. So it's a good idea that when you have them in a down position like this, you want to reward them in a way that's going to benefit you in the future, which this is just going to make her see me as more of the dominant being, just because I'm taking the dominant positions constantly when I interact with her. Everything I do, even this affection, I'm putting myself consciously in the dominant position. Good girl. Good down, girl. Proud of you, girl. Good job. Good girl. Good down. Good girl.